All right, y'all, man. Shout out to the IPA, International Passport Association, official merch below the Dr. Mike TV video in the Dr. Mike TV store. All right, let's lock in real quick. I really have been thinking about this for a while and I want to get it off my chest, but I really don't believe that passport brothers get the respect that they deserve, right? I don't think that passport brothers really get the respect that they deserve, and a lot of people don't really know what really goes into it. Now, when I say this, I understand ladies and gentlemen who have naysayer comments about passport brethren. I understand that this does not apply to all of the passport brothers, right? Or all of the passport men, but definitely a select few. And in my opinion, I think it is the majority of the select few that actually require or have brung together these particular intangibles to create successful trips abroad. Okay? Do you know how hard it is to pick up a second language? Like, honestly, do you know how hard it is to pick up a second language? Right? Learn to speak Portuguese. I mean, Spanish, they teach it in most regular high schools in the United States as part of a second language, and also they're starting to implement and or incorporate Mandarin as well as in that second language in very limited schools, but schools nonetheless are also picking up Arabic, more specifically Farsi. I hope I'm saying that right. But do you know how hard and difficult it is to pick up a second language if you're not a part of any type of immersion program or anything like that? You have quite a few brethren within the passport community that have opted to pick up a second language so that they themselves can immerse and incorporate themselves in the community in which they're traveling to, right? I know base levels of Tagalog and Visayan, two dominant languages spoken in the Philippines, right? Again, I lived there. I wish that I did pick it up and learn it fluently, but one of the benefits of traveling to the Philippines is a lot of people do speak English. So everybody was wanting to have conversations with me in English, and as a result, I didn't take advantage of the ability to practice my Tagalog and Visayan while I was actually there. So that was on me. But when you're traveling to countries where English is not a language that is spoken, you literally have to take it upon yourself to put yourself in a position and say, yo, I want to learn this language. I really want to learn how I can communicate with the women there, right? Do you know how hard that is for the majority of people? Picking up a second language is extremely difficult, right? Do you know what it takes for a individual such as myself to want to immerse themselves in a different culture? Like, they're willing to take the fact that, yes, this is me, Black American man in general, traveling from the United States of America to a foreign country I've never been before, so that I could try to make an attempt at just trying to share in different experiences, right? Hopefully, and most times, they don't really travel alone. Brothers mostly travel in groups of two, maybe somebody that's been there before. But in reality, if you think about it, those that do choose to travel alone, do you know how brave you have to be in order to grab your passport, get your ticket, and get the getting, right? That's not easy, and that's not an easy decision for people to make. So I kind of feel like while everybody's focusing on, they going over there because they can't get women in the United States, or they're going over there to deal with prostitutes, or whatever it is that your majority talking points is for people who don't really have a respect for the passport community, y'all don't know what actually goes into actually doing that, right? When you've grown up in a culture, or grown up within a system, or grown up within an environment wherein everything that you have been taught, you pretty much have to unlearn. I do believe that is where the disconnect is. Because as a brother and a part of the passport community, ladies and gentlemen, you have to unlearn everything that you've been told, right? Man, you go to the Philippines, bro, you go to Latin America, man, they just gonna kidnap you, they gonna take your money and shit, you're gonna become part of the drug cartel or some shit like that. You hear these comments that people will say. You gotta completely unlearn that. You have to completely dismiss that from your mind. And can you imagine being the only one in your area that thinks like this? Like, it can't really be that bad. It can't really be like that. When I'm hearing, this guy and this guy, this YouTuber going to these places, and it's consistently being the exact same conversation wherein they're having success or they're having great experiences, but you're telling me, no, if I go, I'm gonna have a bad one. How that don't connect with me, right? So you have to completely unlearn and you have to completely dismiss the naysayer comments in order for you to be a part of the community. And I do believe that since the community has come up and since, it's starting to be a little bit more recognized by bigger YouTubers and we're starting to have a lot of people co-sign on the movement itself, I do believe it's becoming a lot more comfortable for people to have the conversations about travel and start asking the questions about travel. Like, yeah, I've always wanted to do it, but, because of this, that, and the other, I couldn't do it, right? And then another misconception that people have is only the Pookies and the Ray Rays are traveling, only the guys with the malicious intent are traveling. But usually those people who come from those particular communities that I come from, A, they can't travel if they wanted to. B, they're probably scared to travel. And C, it does take a certain amount of money for you to be able to put together a plan for you to be able to travel, plane tickets and stuff. After 2020, man, the plane tickets ain't cheap no more. So it's not as if you could just get on and pop smoke like you used to. I mean, granted, like I said, Puerto Rico and places like Brazil and Colombia are shorter flights and maybe those tickets aren't quite as expensive. But if you're traveling somewhere in Southeast Asia like myself, man, we're talking about, depending on where you're traveling from, again, it can range anywhere from the low end of like $500 to like $1,500, $2,000 for a plane ticket, right? So you gotta have your money together. Again, another aspect about the passport community that people tend to overlook because they just don't want to recognize that some of the guys who choose to travel actually have their shit together. They actually have their shit together. Nobody wants to look at it from the fact that a brother who was traveling to these countries, and we're talking about multiple countries. We got a couple that choose certain particular destinations, right? But then you got some that are going to different countries and shit, and nobody wants to sit there and look like, yo, how was this man able to travel? You're not even asking those questions. You're not even asking, how was he able to do this? What kind of money does this man got? He must have his shit together. Oh, he just traveling because he can't get women in the United States. He just traveling because of this. He just traveling because of that. You're not looking at the pros. And I understand it's very easy to attack the negative aspect of the passport community as opposed to realizing that the majority don't really fit in those pockets that you try to put us in, right? You got them that'll be like, yo, man, these passport bros ain't traveling for nothing but prostitutes in foreign countries or old women in these foreign countries. Myself, man, keep it a buck with you. I went to college in the Philippines. I was surrounded by college students in them beautiful ass uniforms, where I met my wife, right? My wife who graduated with a nursing fucking degree. So for you to sit there and say that all passport brothers are sitting here traveling for prostitutes, big no-no, love. Big no-no. Right? But again, I understand. You just try to attack these same naysayer consistent general points that people choose to go for. And that's why at the end of the day, for myself, I'm going to try to stray away from responding to all the negativity. I like to make videos about being a passport brother myself and loving and encouraging travel and all of that stuff. And yes, every now and again, I'll throw up a video about somebody having something, a naysayer comment or something that's been taken into context and something to just kind of respond to. But ultimately, it doesn't really affect the fact that we still gonna travel, right? The thing about it, and I think this is where there's a disconnect, but I think we all need to share some understanding, is this. You're not going to change our mind, and chances are you're not going to change their mind either, right? There is probably a far better chance of you changing their minds before they are going to change our minds, that being the participators in the passport community, right? We've already traveled. We've already seen what experiences are like abroad, and there's nothing that's going to change that, right? But in reality, it's going to become difficult to change their minds because these are people that are likely set in their ways, right? If it's a guy that's hating on another guy that chooses to passport travel, he is happy and or comfortable with the women in the community, and he's just saying that you're weak and that's why you travel. Again, the best response to that is what? Guess what? We, passport community, are not going to fight you for those women. We just not. We not. Right? You can have them. Right? We will not fight you for them. We will not sit there and beg you to keep them. We'll probably beg you to keep them, and we'll probably just say, fuck it, we're good, right? So, and when it comes down to it, and it comes down to people who love to travel like myself, whenever I do get a chance to do it, of course, it's just, we got to understand that there's going to probably be very few people that are going to change their minds about us, so we just have to accept it as for what it is. In one ear, not the other. Vice versa. If you don't like what the passport community has to say, what we stand for, the majority of us, okay, the ones that represent the better part of the passport community, it is what it is. Because I think that only hit dogs holler. Like when y'all talk about, oh, y'all going to deal with prostitutes, you going to deal with the old girls or the old hoes in the Philippines and stuff like that, or in places wherever you're choosing to travel. If it don't apply to you, we just ain't gonna say shit. Because again, that ain't me. That's not who I am, and that's not what I represent as part of this community. So, in reality, y'all, I just want to have this conversation. If it hits home, drop a like, share it, comment, subscribe on it. If you want to support the channel, you already know what to do. Heart down at the bottom. Throw a dollar, a couple of thanks on the Good Dogs books. Sorry, throw a couple dollars on the Good Dogs books to say thank you. If you want to support in any way, shape, or form, you already know what to do. I appreciate y'all locking in. It's been a good job, man. Y'all take care. Y'all stay blessed, man. Doc is out. Peace.